So today's lecture is on energy and power signals. So let us understand the concept of energy and power signals. So for that, let us consider an electric circuit. There is some voltage Vt applied, current that causes current It to flow, and there is a single resistor in the network. So if I have to calculate the instantaneous power which is dissipated in the resistor, what it would be? It would be power is equal to V square by R. If I have to express that in the form of current, then power would be R into I square. Right? So this is power. Now let me talk about this power in terms of signal processing, because we are into the subject signals and system. So if I want to discuss the concept with respect to signal processing, it is a custom that we define power in terms of 1 ohm resistor. So that regardless of whether we are talking about voltage or current, power simply becomes a function of some x square t. This x might be voltage, this x might be current the moment I make resistor to be 1 ohms. Right? So power is a function of square of some function. Right? The moment you put resistor as 1 ohm, power becomes a function of some square function. So that square function might be either a voltage or it might be a current. So power is expressed as x square t. If I am interested in calculating the power over a time period t1 to t2, then the average power over this time period t1 to t2 would be 1 by t2 minus t1 integrated from t1 to t2 x square t dt. So since we are finding the average power, we find the difference in the time period 1 by t2 minus t1 over integrated over the time period of interest t1 to t2. Now let us try to make the signal more and more generalized. So we'll calculate power for a generalized CT signal. Right. So if I talk about power of a CT signal, then the CT signal, if I assume to be over an infinite time interval t, then power is calculated as limit as t tends to infinity, because I am talking about infinite time interval of that CT signal. I am assuming xt to be my some CT signal. Maybe it is voltage, maybe current, or maybe some other signal of interest. So xt is some CT signal, and I am assuming the signal to be over an infinite time duration. Then generalizing the power equation, we can write power as limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t minus t to t mod of xt square t. So we generalize this particular power signal over a CT signal extending up to infinite time duration, and that infinity is mentioned with t tending to infinity. The average is shown as 1 by 2t, assuming the time period to be minus t to t. Right? So this is the power equation that is generalized for a CT signal. Now let us talk about energy. What is energy? Energy is the total work done in an electric circuit. Energy is the total work done in an electric circuit. The rate at which work is done in an electric circuit is called the power. So what is the relation between energy and power? So power is energy upon time. In other words, energy is the product of power into time. So if I consider some time period t1 to t2, then energy is integrating from t1 to t2 time period p into dt, where p is the power. And now we know that power is expressed as some function of square of a signal. So power is x square t dt. So energy is t1 to t2, considering the time period t1 to t2, x square t dt. Right? So let us now try to generalize energy equation for a CT signal extending over infinite time duration. So energy turns out to be minus infinity to plus infinity mod of xt square dt. So this is the energy of any CT signal. Right? Now we can extend the same discussion for DT signals. Whatever we discussed for power and energy for a CT signal can be extended for a DT signal. So for DT signal, the power equation is limit n tends to infinity 1 upon 2n plus 1 summation minus n to n mod of xn square. Now see the changes that has happened if I compare this power signal with the CT signal. Power signal of a DT signal with power signal of a CT signal, right? So in CT signal you had integration. In DT signal the integration gets replaced by a summation, right? There you had the average power to be 1 by 2t. Here you have a term which is 1 upon 2n plus 1. Why this plus 1? Because the summation which goes from minus n to n has how many samples? Right? These total samples are 1 upon 2n plus 1 because we know there is a sample at 0 also. So minus n to n totally corresponds to 2n plus 1 samples. Whereas when we talk about CT signal, the integration of the CT signal is minus infinity to minus t to plus t, right? Which corresponds to a total time period of 1 by 2t. Whereas in DT signal, the limit of the summation is minus n to n, right? Because of which we get 1 upon 2n plus 1. This plus 1 is because of the sample which is present at 0, right? Gets added here 1 upon 2n plus 1, right? With limit n tends to infinity, saying that the signal xn is over a infinite time duration. Whereas energy is given as minus infinity to plus infinity mod of xn square. You can compare it with the CT signal here. Summation gets replaced by, integration gets replaced by summation, right? Rest of the part remains as it is. So energy is minus infinity to plus infinity, right? Summation minus infinity to plus infinity mod of xn square. So these are the power and energy equations of a DT signal, whereas this is the energy and power equation for a CT signal. Now let us see some interesting properties of energy and power signals. Let us look at some of the properties. Okay, so the equation of energy signal that we just saw was limit n tends to infinity, t tends to infinity minus t to plus t mod of xt square dt, right? I have done a small adjustment here of introducing the term 2t. So I have compensated it by multiplying by 1 by 2t. So 2t gets cancelled, I get my original equation back. So limit t tends to infinity 2t 1 by 2t minus t to t mod of xt square dt. So this is nothing but the power equation. So if I now assume that the power is finite, if I say the power is finite, right? So what turns out, this integration is finite now. So finite into 2t. So I get some finite value multiplied by the term t. Now if I put t as infinity there, this entire term becomes infinite. When I put t as infinity here, the complete term becomes infinite and hence energy turns out to be infinity. So what we can conclude by this small mathematical discussion, that when power is finite, energy is infinite in duration, right? So finite power has infinite energy, right? This is an important conclusion we make from this discussion, that if the power is finite, then the energy turns out to be infinite in duration, right? So it has infinite energy. Finite power has infinite energy. Let us look the other way. If I now look at the power equation, right? So power is limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t integration minus t to t mod of xt square dt. So from this power equation, this part of the equation is nothing but the energy equation. This part of the equation corresponds to energy equation, right? So if I now assume that this energy is finite, right? So this is some finite value now. So finite value 1 upon 1 by 2t. This finite value multiplied by the term 1 by 2t. The moment I put t as infinity here, I get 1 upon infinity. So 1 upon infinity multiplied by some finite value turns out to be 0, because 1 by infinity is nothing but 0. The value of 1 by infinity is 0. So 0 into finite value makes the power value to be 0. So what we can conclude here? The moment energy is finite, power is 0. So finite energy has 0 power. This is a conclusion of this mathematical analysis. Finite energy signals have 0 power. Right? So an important conclusion now that we can make is signals having finite energy and 0 power fall under the category of energy signals. Signals having finite energy but 0 power are falling under the category of energy signals, whereas signals having finite power and infinite energy are power signals. Okay, signals having finite power but infinite energy are falling under the category of power signals, right? Signals cannot be both energy and power at the same time, right? Signals cannot have finite and infinite energy at the same time. Hence, signals cannot be energy and power signal at the same time. So, if it falls under the category of energy signal, it cannot fall under the category of power signal and vice versa. So, if the signal is a power signal, it cannot be a energy signal. So, signals cannot be both energy and power at the same time. On the other hand, there are category of signals which are neither energy nor power signals. This is another category where signals can neither be energy signals nor power signals. Right? Let us have some important note about energy and power signals. All practical signals are having finite energies. All practically realizable signals are having finite energies and hence they fall under the category of energy signals. So measured signals fall under the category of energy signals. It is impossible to generate a signal with infinite energy. Signal having infinite energy is impossible to generate and hence true power signals does not exist. Right? Infinite duration signals have infinite energy. Right? Infinite, if the duration of the signal is infinite, it results into infinite energy signals. And where do we see such kind of infinite duration signals? Such infinite duration signals are usually periodic signals, because periodic signals have durations which tend to infinity, and hence the periodic signals generally are having infinite durations and hence they fall under the category of power signals, because periodic signals go on repeating. They have infinite durations, and infinite duration signal means they are all falling the category of power signals. So the periodic signals are said to be power signals, but the other way may not be true. But all power signals need not be periodic. This is very, very important. But all power signals need not be periodic. With this basic understanding of energy and power signals, now let us try to solve some problems which associated with energy and power signals. So how is the question that is asked? Find whether the signals are energy or power signals. So the questions are asked in the form to determine whether the signal given is an energy signal or a power signal. So let us start with the first problem. So the first problem is xt is equal to A into ut. What is our ut? Ut is our standard basic unit step signal, right? Which is having a magnitude of 1 for the time duration from 0 to infinity. So when such a signal is multiplied by A, what does A indicate here? A indicates some magnitude. So the magnitude of ut signal becomes A. And hence, how is the sketch of xt signal? So xt is a signal which is having a magnitude of a and which extends to infinity, whereas it is 0 on the other side. The signal is entirely right-handed signal with magnitude a, and it is 0 on the left hand side. So such UT signal, and hence UT signals are basically called as right-handed signals. Now let us try to find energy and power of the given signal. So let us start with the energy equation. So what is the energy? We just have found conceptually that energy is minus infinity to plus infinity mod of xt square dt. Let us substitute what is our given signal xt. So xt was a into ut. The given signal xt was a into ut. So we replace xt by the signal a into ut. The moment ut signal is observed, what we understand now is that ut signal is a unit step signal, which is a right-handed signal. A right-handed signal immediately affects the limit of the integration. So the right-handed signal makes the limit to go from 0 to infinity, because the signal is entirely 0 on the left hand side. So we see here that the signal is 0 entirely on the left hand side. There is no signal, UT signal does not exist on the left hand side. It exists only on the right hand side from 0 to infinity, and hence it modifies the limits of the integration, making it to go from 0 to infinity. And we know that magnitude of unit step signal is 1. So what remains here is simply mod of a square dt. Mod of a square becomes simply a square dt. Right? A square is some constant which you can bring outside integration. What remains is integration of 0 to infinity 1 into dt, which simply becomes t with the limit 0 to infinity. A square outside, the limit is now, the value of the integration is t with the limits 0 to infinity. Right, so when you substitute, it becomes infinity minus 0. Infinity minus 0 is infinity. Infinity into a square simply turns into infinity. So we got energy equation to be infinite. Here we got energy to be infinite. Value of energy is infinity. Now let us look at the power of the signal. Now let us calculate the power of the given signal. So what is the power equation? Limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t minus t to t mod of xt square dt. Let us substitute our given signal xt. So our given xt is a into ut mod of, with mod of square of it, into dt. So as we just discussed, ut is a right-handed signal with magnitude 1. The moment ut comes in the integration, what it is going to affect is the limits. So the limit of the integration now changes to 0 to in t. Limit now changes from 0 to t. Why? Because ut is a right-handed signal. Right? So the limit modifies to 0 to t. Ut is having magnitude 1, so only thing that remains is a square dt. So now we need to solve this part of the integration, 0 to t a square dt. Right? So a square being a constant, you can bring it outside integration. So a square, with a square outside the integration, what remains is 0 to t dt, which turns out to be simply t with the limits 0 to t. So if I now put the limits, the answer of this integration is t. Right? So what we observe, that this t gets cancelled. Right? The result of this integration is simply a square by 2 with limit t tending to infinity. As there is no t term here, the limit does not work out, and hence we only get it as a square by 2. As there is no t term here, limit does not exist here. So the value of this power signal, the value of the power is a square by 2. So what we observed? We found the energy, we found the power of the given signal. So energy was infinite. The value of the energy was infinite, whereas the value of the power was finite. Right? So energy is infinite, power is finite. And as we just discussed, if the energy is infinite, whereas the power is finite, the given signal is a power signal. So this is how we answered the question, determine whether the given signal is an energy signal or a power signal. So the given signal here was a power signal. Now let us try to conceptually understand by looking at the signal. So if I look at this given signal, what is the duration of this signal? The signal is infinite in duration. And what we just discussed was infinite duration signals have infinite energies. Right? So by even looking at the signal, we can comment whether the given signal is energy signal or a power signal. So if the signals are infinite in duration, right, such signals have energy infinite. So such signals turn out to be power signals. So here we obtain that the given signal is a power signal. Let us move on to one more problem. So what is the next question? The next question is, your given signal xt is e raised to minus 3t into ut. So you have been given a signal xt which is e raised to minus 3t into ut. And you have been asked to find whether this given signal is an energy signal or a power signal. So let us start with the energy equation. So we know that energy is minus infinity to plus infinity mod of xt squared dt. To better understand, let us try to plot the given problem. So we'll start with ut. Ut is a unit step signal, a right-handed signal having magnitude 1 from 0 to infinity. Right? Let us separately try to plot e raised to minus 3t. So it is an exponentially decaying signal. Right? So this is e raised to minus 3t. When you multiply such a signal, right, actually this signal actually goes from minus infinity to plus infinity. Right, so e raised to minus 3t is actually exponentially decaying signal. Now if you multiply ut signal with e raised to minus 3t, right, the signal completely becomes a right-handed signal. This part of the signal becomes 0. Why? Because unit step signal is 0 there. Right, so signal completely becomes a right-handed signal. So the product of e raised to minus 3t into ut is nothing but the signal becomes a right-handed signal with this exponentially decaying in magnitude. Right, so as ut is having magnitude 1, the magnitude of the exponential signal is retained and we get the same component in the output. Now let us try to find energy of such a signal. So minus infinity to plus infinity, will replace xt with what is the value of our xt signal, e raised to minus 3t into ut. So replacing xt by e raised to minus 3t into ut mod of which square into dt. So now we understand that ut, the moment ut comes in the mathematical equation, ut is nothing but a right-handed signal which modifies the limits. The ut signal in the equation modifies the limits. So and hence the limit changes, which is initially from minus infinity to plus infinity, now changes from 0 to infinity. So limit changes from 0 to infinity mod of e raised to minus 3t square dt. As ut has unit magnitude, we replace ut by 1. So what remains here is e raised to minus 3t mod of square dt. Right? So since this mod affects the magnitude of the signal, right? So magnitude is already plus. Right, so we remove the mod and what we get is e raised to minus 6t dt, square of which makes a signal e raised to minus 6t into dt. Now we'll integrate it. So integration of e raised to minus 6t is e raised to minus 6t upon minus 6 with the limit going from 0 to infinity. So when we now substitute here e raised to minus 6t by minus 6 with the limits 0 to infinity, we get it as e raised to minus infinity minus e raised to 0 by minus 6. Now what is the value of e raised to minus infinity? Right? When we put the upper limit here, we get e raised to minus infinity. What is the value of this e raised to minus infinity? So, e raised to minus infinity can be separately expressed here for you. E raised to minus infinity can be represented as 1 upon e raised to infinity. We can write this term as 1 upon e raised to infinity. Anything raised to infinity is nothing but infinity. So e raised to infinity has a value of infinity. 1 upon infinity becomes 0. Right? 1 upon infinity is nothing but 0, and hence we can conclude that e raised to minus infinity has a value of 0. So I'll replace e raised to minus infinity by 0. Minus e raised to 0 is 1. So finally we get energy value to be 1 by 6. We obtained energy to be 1 by 6. Now let us try to find power of the same signal. Let us try to find the power of this particular signal. So let us start with the power equation. So power is limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t integrated from minus t to t mod of xt square dt. Let us replace xt by the given problem. So our xt is nothing but e raised to minus 3t into ut. So we'll replace xt by e raised to minus 3t into ut mod of square dt. So now the moment ut comes in the mathematical representation, we know that it is going to change the limits. So it will make the limit right-handed, changing the limit from 0 to t. So instead of minus t to plus t, now the limits are from 0 to t. Ut is 1, so what remains is e raised to minus 3t mod of square dt. Right? So we'll now square the term. So limit t tends to infinity 1 by 2t as it is. Limit 0 to t, the square of this term turns out to be e raised to minus 6t dt. So we have to integrate this part of the equation. So the integration of this term is e raised to minus 6t by minus 6 with the limits 0 to t. Right? So when we put the upper limit, we get e raised to minus 6t minus the lower limit is e raised to 0. So we have the term now e raised to minus 6t minus e raised to 0 by minus 6. Now let us try to look at these terms closely. We have a term here wherein we say t tends to infinity. So to solve this further, I'll put the value of t tending to infinity in this equation. So wherever there is t, I'll replace t by infinity. So I replaced here t by infinity. So I got 1 by 2 into infinity, which is nothing but 1 by infinity. So this term is 1 by infinity. Whereas what do I get here? E raised to 6 into infinity is nothing but e raised to minus infinity minus 1 by minus 6. And what we just have analyzed, e raised to minus infinity is nothing but 0. So this term is 0. This term is 0. So it is nothing but 0 minus 1 by minus 6. So it is nothing but 1 by 6. This term is 1 by 6. But what do we observe? We observe that this term is getting multiplied by 1 by infinity. And 1 by infinity is nothing but 0. And hence the entire product is 0. So power of this given signal is 0. Whereas energy is finite. We obtained energy to be 1 by 6. So the given signal has energy which is 1 by 6, power which is 0, and hence if the signal has finite energy and 0 power, we call the signal as energy signal. So the given signal is an energy signal. So this is how we determine whether the given signal is energy signal or the power signal from the values that we obtain. Let us look at few more examples of energy and power signal which are now considering DT signals. We consider few examples of CT signal. Let us consider a few example of DT signal now. So here is a given problem wherein xn is n and which exist over a time period from 0 to 4. and we have been asked to determine whether the signal are energy signal or a power signal. The given signal is an energy signal or a power signal. So let us first try to plot the given signal. So plot helps us to substitute the values and get the solution easily. So let us plot the given signal xn. So xn is n and it existed over a period of only 0 to 4. Everywhere else, if the signal is not defined, we have to assume that the signal is 0. So let us start with n is equal to 0. So when I put n as 0, at 0 the magnitude is 0. At 1, xn takes a magnitude of 1. When n is 2, the magnitude becomes 2. When n is 3, the magnitude becomes 3. When n is 4, the sample has a magnitude 4. So your given xn signal has total 5 samples wherein the magnitudes are respectively shown in the figure. Right? Everywhere else the signal is 0. So such is the given signal, and we have been asked whether the given signal is an energy signal or a power signal. So let us start with the energy equation. So energy equation is n goes from minus infinity to plus infinity mod of xn square. Let us substitute the given signal xn. So what is our given signal xn? So given signal is xn is n. Right? But given signal xn is n for what time period? For the time period between 0 to 4. So in the equation we modified the limits from 0 to 4 and we replaced xn by n because xn is n only for this time duration, and hence we correspondingly have changed the summation limits, modifying it from 0 to 4. xn exists only for a time period between 0 to 4. So xn is n between 0 to 4. So it is n square. So now what we have? Summation 0 to 4 n square. Since it is for a very small time duration, we can solve this by simply expanding the summation. So if I expand the summation for various values of n, what do we get? So when n is 0, 0 square is 0. When n is 1, it is 1 square. When n is 2, it is 2 square. N is 3, it is 3 square. And when n is 4, it turns out to be 4 square. What we did here is simply expanded this summation for the limits f of n, taking the n values as 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we have expanded this summation for various values of n, and hence we get, when we add these, we get the energy value to be 30. The energy turns out to be 30. Now let us find the power of this same problem. So what is the power equation? So power is limit n tends to infinity 1 by 2n plus 1 summation minus n to n mod of xn square. Now let us try to substitute xn. So our given xn is n, but our given signal xn is n for a time duration 0 to 4. So we have correspondingly changed the summation limits from 0 to 4 and we replaced xn by n. So now we need to solve this summation. So this summation is very similar to what we have just solved. So 0 to 4 n square, the value of which we had obtained was 30. So what remains in the power equation is limit n tends to infinity 1 by 2n plus 1 into 30. So the summation of this is 30. Now let us substitute wherever there is n, let us replace n by infinity. Right? So here 30 remains as it is. Here in the denominator there is a term n. We'll replace it by infinity. So infinity plus 1 is nothing but infinity. So we get a term in the denominator to be infinity. And what we know is 1 by infinity is nothing but 0. And hence power of the given signal is 0. So what we conclude here is that the given signal is having finite energy, which is 30, and power value to be 0. So if energy is finite and power is 0, we make the conclusion that the given signal is energy signal. So here we make a conclusion that the given signal is energy signal. Let us move to the next example. So here the next example is xn is a raised to n into un where a is less than 1. Okay, one problem is xn is a raised to n into un where a value is less than 1. Let us try to plot the given problem. Let us try to plot a part of it. Let us plot UN, unit step signal, which is having all the samples of magnitude 1, which is a right-handed signal which exists from 0 to infinity. On the left-hand side, all the samples are 0. So this is our standard unit step signal. The dots indicate here that the signal is going to infinity. Let us separately try to plot a raised to n. Right, so if I start to plot the signal from 0, right, at 0 the magnitude will be a raised to 0 will be 1. At 1, what would be the magnitude? Here, since it has been clearly mentioned that a is less than 1, right, so for all the other values of n, the magnitude of a would go on decreasing. Right, so we have something, we get a signal a raised to n which is having magnitude of 1 at 0, rest all the samples are decreasing in magnitude as n increases, because it's been mentioned in the problem that a is less than 1. So the power of a's go on becoming smaller magnitude samples. So all the samples have lower magnitudes. The dots indicate that the signal is going to infinity. So if I now take a product of such a signal, the resultant product is this, wherein the sample at 0 has a magnitude 1, where rest all the samples are decreasing in magnitude and the samples are going to infinity. The dots indicate that the signal is tending to infinity. So we have been asked to find energy of such a signal. Right, so let us quickly find energy here. So energy equation is minus infinity to plus infinity mod of xn square. Let us replace xn by a raised to n into un. From the given signal, xn was a raised to n un. So I replaced xn by a raised to n into un. What we now know is un, the presence of un in the equation modifies the limit. So we modified the limit, making it right-handed, 0 to infinity. So the limit is now 0 to infinity mod of xn square, a raised to n square. So which is nothing but a raised to 2n. So you get the equation of energy to be a raised to 2n. Now the question is, how do we solve this particular summation? To solve this particular summation, we need to use a summation identity. We need to use a summation identity. What is the identity? So the identity is n is equal to 0 to infinity a raised to n. So if your summation is in this form, you can express this summation as 1 upon 1 minus a. This is a standard summation identity. So is my given problem falling in this category? Let us check it out. So we have summation which is going from 0 to infinity. We have a raised to 2n which is in the form of a raised to n. So I can express a raised to 2n as a square raised to n. I can express this a raised to 2n as a square raised to n. So what is my a here? My a is nothing but a square as per this identity. So I can express it using this form 1 upon 1 minus a. So I can express energy as 1 upon 1 minus a square. What is my a as per this identity is a square. So 1 upon 1 minus a square. So I applied this identity to solve this summation. I got the energy equation to be 1 upon 1 minus a square. So energy equation is 1 upon 1 minus a square. Now let us find the power of the same problem. Let us try to find the power. Let us start with the power equation. Limit n tends to infinity. 1 upon 2n plus 1 summation minus n to n mod of xn square. Let us replace xn by the given equation, which is a raised to n into un. So we replaced xn by a raised to n un. The un in the equation modifies the limit. So limit changes now from 0 to n. So limit changes from 0 to n. What remains is a raised to n square of it, which is nothing but a raised to 2n. Now we need to solve this particular summation. This summation is different from the summation that we had obtained earlier. Here the summation is n goes from 0 to n. The limit is finite, whereas the limit in the earlier case was infinite. So we cannot apply this particular identity to solve this summation, because here the limit of the summation is finite. So there is one more summation identity which is applicable to finite limits. So we'll apply this finite summation limit to this particular problem. What is the identity? This identity says n goes from 0 to capital N, a raised to n is 1 minus a raised to n plus 1 upon 1 minus a. This is a standard summation identity which should be remembered to solve the problems on energy and power related problems. So I'll be applying this particular identity to solve this. So 0 to n. 0 to n indicates the total number of samples to be n plus 1, and hence the power here is n plus 1. Right? This power is related to the count of the summation. So the summation limit is 0 to n. So 0 to n makes a total count of the total points, total samples to be n plus 1. Right? So here the power is n plus 1. So it is 1 minus a raised to n plus 1 by 1 minus a. So is my given summation falling in this category? Yes. So I'll first of all express the power to be this particular part of the summation to be a square raised to n, so that I can now say my a is nothing but a square. So if I apply that particular identity now, what do we get? So we keep the rest of the terms as it is, 1 by limit n tends to infinity, 1 by 2n plus 1. We'll apply the identity to this part of the summation. So if we apply the identity, right, it should be 1 minus a raised to n plus 1. So 1 minus, my a is nothing but a square here, a square raised to n plus 1 upon 1 minus, it should have been a square, 1 minus a square. Correct? So now how do I solve this further? So to solve this further, what we need to do is put the limit, put the n value. So wherever there is capital N in this given problem, you need to replace n by infinity. So if I put here, I get a term which is 1 by infinity. If I find one more capital N here, so I'll replace it by infinity. So I get 1 upon a raised to infinity upon 1 minus a square. So I get here a square. Now how do I solve this? How do I solve this? What we know in the given problem is that the value of a in the given problem is less than 1. The problem clearly mentions that a is some value which is less than 1. So if we take the power of such a value of a with the power tending to infinity, so if the value of a is less than 1, then a raised to infinity definitely tends to 0. If you take the infinite power of such a value of a which is less than 1, definitely the magnitude of such a signal will tend to be 0. It will be very, very, very magnitudely very small, right, which is nearly 0. So as applying the given condition of the given problem that a is less than 1, a raised to infinity will have a value which is very, very, very infinitely small, which we can take it to be 0, and hence what remains in the given problem is now this particular term becomes 0, right? So it is simply 1 upon 1 minus a square multiplied by a term which is outside, which is 1 by infinity, and we know that 1 by infinity is 0. So 0 into some value becomes 0, and hence power of the given signal is 0. So what is the conclusion? So energy was 1 upon 1 minus a square, which is finite. Power is 0, and hence we conclude that the given signal is an energy signal.